Hello everyone, my name is Pablo Maglio from the Indicator Store, and today I am going to explain how to use the strategy analyzer. First, we need to go to the menu, go to File, New, Strategy Analyzer. We need to be connected to a data feed unless we have enough data on our cache. We get this window. We can see at the left the instruments on our default instrument tab. We select the instrument we want to backtest, and then we can click on Backtest, Optimize or Walk Forward. At the right, if we place the mouse over that tab, a new menu appears. Same happens if we click on the Backtest button, and then we can make this tab to be fixed so it never disappears again. First of all, the first difference between Backtest and Optimize. At first sight, what we can see is that using Backtest we define one number per each parameter. On the Optimize we have three numbers: a starting point, an ending point, and a step. For example, if we want to change the period of this strategy, we can go from 17 to 300 in steps of 2. On the extreme case, from 1 to 300, this optimization executes 300 divided by 2, that is 150 backtests. If we also optimize another parameter, for example the size of an envelope between 10 and 20, then we have 10 different options for the envelope, and 300 divided by 2, 150 different options for the period. So we have in total 150 multiplied by 10, that is 1500 backtests. That may take some time, and we have two different optimizations. The default. On the default optimization, the system scans each one of the combinations, each one of the 10 envelopes multiplied by each one of the 150 different periods, and so on with each of the variables we want to scan. So depending on the number of parameters and the number of options between the starting and ending point, we can get a big number of backtests to be executed. So it may take a very long time. To make that time lower, we can use the other optimizer, the genetic, that uses a much faster algorithm. Faster but not perfect. It may not find the best settings to use, but at least it finds something good. The results we are going to get can be sorted, so we can look for the best in max net profit or all these variables. Usually what we are looking is a combination of settings that give us the maximum net profit, but we can also look at a minimum drawdown or a different number of variables. Now let's go to an example. On this example I am going to use the SRS strategy. As we know, the main settings on this strategy are a period and an envelope, a period from a moving average, and an envelope that also has a period and a size. So mainly we have three parameters: the period of the main trend line, the period of the envelope, and the size of the envelope. The size of the envelope is usually near or equal the ATR of the chart we are looking. On a range 9 chart, the ATR is constant, so we know that we may be looking a size of an envelope in the range of 9, maybe twice between 9 and 18. The second and also very important factor is that the period of the trend should be higher than the period of the envelope to get a trending configuration. If we do the opposite, I mean if we look for a trend period lower than the envelope, then the setup that we are going to get is counter trend. So for example, if we look at any instrument, let's say DAX on a range 9, let's go to today. And 1 month from November the 3rd to December the 4th. I leave this time window trade only because this is the time I am available to trade, but we can set this to any time. And I start scanning the most important parameters, and that is the envelope period. I will start with a 17 to a 300 in steps of 1. I leave the envelope fixed, and the trending period I will go from 50 to 300 in steps of 1. As a starting point, I will leave the target and stop fixed to 15 ticks of target, 15 ticks of stop, because I am only optimizing the main settings, not the targets. We click on optimization. We have another dialog. We click on OK, and on the control center we can see an estimated time of this report. And we can see that we get two tabs. On the first tab we only get one row, and this is the result sorted by this setting. So it is taking the 10 best results and sorted by maximum net profit. It is the best one. If we click on optimizer, we can see the 10 best settings sorted by maximum net profit. If we click on any of them, at the bottom we can see the charts and statistics corresponding to each one of them. We can get different reports on the lower part of the chart. For example, the equity curve, the daily net profit. The distribution is one of the most important because we can look at the entry time performance, so we can see which is the best time to trade this setup. This is taking into account my filter in trading. Remember that I am filtering from 6 to 15. So now we can go and include more conditions, like for example changing the target and the stops. Let's try between 15 and 30, and the same for the stop, for the target. We can get the best result for the maximum profit, or the best 10 results, and we can see the settings used on those sets. The parameters that are going to be have been scanned are noted with parentheses. We can see the starting, the ending, and the step, and the value used, the value found. The most profitable version is using an envelope period of 132 and a trend period of 231. This is a trending configuration because the trend period is higher than the envelope. And the stop is 15 and the target is 18. So the configuration uses a bigger target than a stop. It gets a profit factor of 1.33, a total number of trades in 1 month of 195. I am not calculating commissions, so we must multiply the number of trades by the commission. It is possible also to make a Ninja to calculate and place the exact commissions. We just have to define that on the settings. On this example, we can see that the entry distribution is always better before market opens. This is local time. On my local time the market opens at 11:30, so this looks like a bad hour to start a trade, at least on this instrument. Some another settings that we can play with the optimizer are, for example, that we want to get let's say we want to, instead of focus on getting the maximum profit, we are interested in getting the maximum linearity of this equity curve. So we can use the R square. There are several options for that. Those are all mathematical functions. I will try with this one. We'll run an optimization. Usually we don't get the best performance in profit, but we get something more linear. On this example, it's making 6,000 in 1 month. We can take a look at what type of entries it is taking. We have a long, another long, another feature to have into account is, for example, on this example we have a long, and while the strategy is still having a position, we have another signal, so we can allow or not to take an additional entry. For that we set entries per direction, and we can allow 2 maximum entries per direction. We run another optimization and we can see the effect on the chart. Now the performance is almost twice. We have a profit factor of 1.4, an equity curve a little more smooth, but I don't know if we like this kind of trading. Let me find an example. We have a short and then another short, each one with its independent targets and stops. This is another example. So let's make a small review. First, and the most important, is the module strategy analyzer. With the strategy analyzer we can backtest defined settings, and also optimize. I will take a different instrument, for example gold. We'll execute a backtest, and again I will try the last month. Using 6 from to 15, and I will leave these default numbers. So we only get a static number, we don't get settings, we only have one performance report with the graphs, the daily net profit, the distribution. Now, if we want to get the best settings for this instrument on this time frame, then we use the optimizer. As a starting point, we can leave all the settings to default and only looking for the period of the envelope, starting from 15 to 300, leaving the size of the envelope in a number near of the ATR of this chart. A chart of range 9 has an ATR of 9. This is the minimum. We can use any number bigger than this. And then the trending period from 50 to 300. We can also try a bigger target and stop, and sort by maximum net profit. Click on OK. And at the first result we get, we can look at the 10 best results. Usually what I start looking is at the equity curve. This equity curve is ascending. It is not like the random equity curve we got with random settings. At least it is an ascending equity curve with some drawdowns. So this can be optimized, and we can get much better settings. Usually we can play with the other settings now, like for example the size of the channel, and the size of the envelope, and why not the size of the target. I will not increase the size of the stop because I am not interested in a setup using a bigger than 30 tick of stop. Now we get a much better equity curve. There is some drawdown, and we can also then look at the performance on the time. So we can trade this configuration, these settings, 1777 as the trend period and a 235 as envelope period. As you can see, this is a counter trend setup. The trend is lower than the envelope. We can trade this setup between 6 and 12 because we already know that the profile is not good beyond that point. We can also look at a half-hour profile and also a day of week. So we can even not trade this setup on Mondays. Okay, I guess I have covered all the different features of the optimizer. There's a lot to there are a lot of configurations and lot of parameters we can play with. We have also the walk forward function. Maybe on the next video we can talk about it. On the walk forward we define a period of time to optimize and then use those parameters on the following time space. For example, we optimize 1 week and those settings are used to backtest the following week and so on. This is what is called walk forward. Thanks for watching this video, and if you have any questions you can contact me to my email or to my Skype. Thank you everyone. See you, bye bye.